Graffiti Pop Art. First, let's define what pop art is. What is pop art? Well, pop art is an art movement that emerged in the 1950s in America and Britain. Artists drew inspiration from sources in popular culture. Basically, it was a style of art that based its imagery on simple, bold images from everyday life. Some items they might have used for inspiration would be things like soup cans or popular food items like burgers and fries. There'd be label packaging and advertising, also photos of celebrities and artwork created based on celebrities, and comic strips of comic characters, and even pop art dog paintings. When we look at the art of this art movement, we can see it's a tremendously influential movement, and we still have art that people are inspired by in this movement even today. Some pop art masters are artists like Andy Warhol, Roy Lichtenstein, Jeff Koons, and Keith Haring. And while most of these pop artists are from America, there's also been a surge of amazing pop artists from Japan, influencing contemporary culture. Artists like Yoyai Kasama, Takashi Murakami, and Naro Yoshimoto. But let's talk about graffiti pop, a combination of graffiti style mixed with popular culture icons. Joey Allen is a self-taught graffiti pop artist from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. His style blends bright colors with modern icons and timeless pop characters from his youth. The materials or mediums he uses are things like spray paint, paint pens, markers, acrylic and oil paint, pastels, collage elements, and resin. The classic cartoon characters are the basis of his work. Joey Allen often mixes different characters from different decades or films. Creating pop art pieces with the added effect of abstraction. You can really see this here, with each character overlapping each other. The lines and shapes also overlap, and each overlap section changes in color palette when these shapes and lines pass through different characters. Let's take a look at this particular art piece of his. He has chosen a similar color palette throughout this piece so that the work is unified and balanced. Taking a closer look at how the characters overlap, we can see how the tints and shades of hues change as specific areas overlap onto a different character. Even his line colors and thickness change also. Classic pop imagery and even patterns appear in part of his work for added emphasis. Here's an image of his studio space. Joey Allen even uses the famous Marvel superheroes as inspiration for his pieces. These characters appear as murals, which are larger artworks created on walls. Here's one of his murals. This is also another example of his using resin. Resin in art is created with like a runny chemical called epoxy resin, and it combines sometimes various colors or can be clear, and when it dries it hardens as a very strong mixture and component as a solid plastic. I think it's also important to notice that Joey Allen chooses a specific color set or color arrangement. Joey Allen's pieces have been sold in major markets globally, and you can check out his work on his Instagram page at Joey Allen Creations. Okay, now it's time to make our own Joey Allen inspired abstract graffiti pop art. To do this, we're going to start with taking some canvas paper and spraying backgrounds. Your backgrounds can have any colors you want. You can mix and layer, and then of course we're going to let it dry. Here are some examples of my spray painted backgrounds with different color combinations. After practicing drawing different characters enlarged in your sketchbook, you will then need to begin freehand drawing one character at a time onto your spray painted canvas. I do each character first with a pencil so that if I make a mistake, I can erase it easily. Once I have finished one character, I choose a paint pen color to outline that contour lines of the first character. This step is repeated for each different character, making sure the next one slightly overlaps the one I just drew. When I finish drawing that character, you then choose a different color paint pen, or the same one depending on what you want, and outline what you have drawn for its contour lines. Repeat this step until you have filled your page with different contour character lines. You can also start filling in specific areas and shapes with a particular color of the paint pens. Think about adding different textures and patterns to certain spots too. You don't need to fill all shapes in with your paint pens, but watch to see what lines overlap and try to fill only specific segments. Once you feel good about what's covered, it's time to get out your brushes with some water and your water-soluble oil pastels. Find the different sections of each overlapped line segment or shapes and begin filling in with different oil pastels colors that you'd like in those sections. You can also think about different color groupings, or you can just have fun and choose whatever colors you like. Think about changing the hue or tint and shade your colors by adding white or black, and also you can try mixing different colors with your oil pastels. Once you're ready, try dipping your brush into the water and apply to the areas you have added the oil pastels to. You will see that they blend really nicely. While you're working with water, try also adding the oil pastels as a drawing right on top. You'll see how it actually comes off of the oil pastel stick and blends right into your piece. Sometimes you can take oil pastel from a different section with your wet brush and bring it and layer it onto a different section to blend it in that spot. After you're done filling in most of your areas, you can go back with different color oil pastels to change the line color as certain sections change from one part to another. Okay, now here is how my finished piece turned out. I put a few paint pen marks in the background as well for a bit more added texture. I like showing this finished piece with a picture of it in black and white. Here, side by side, you can see that even though I placed different colors in different overlapped parts, I still kept the essence or the true character parts and colors of each of the characters chosen. And since I had other spray painted backgrounds, like this funky teal and silver one, I decided to do another graffiti pop abstract piece inspired by the Jetsons. Okay, now it's your turn to get creating and drawing your own Joey Allen inspired graffiti pop art piece. Have fun picking your characters and trying out doing this abstract multimedia piece for yourself.